everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Eat at Kurt's. Today we are going to be making bread, and I've never made bread on my YouTube channel before. So I'm going to start off really simple today and show you how to make a really simple basic bread recipe. Anybody can make this recipe. It is not super complicated. It does not require a whole lot of ingredients, and it does not require a bunch of special tools or trays or devices. Yes, I'm going to be using my KitchenAid stand mixer today, but you can just as easily hand knead your bread using the methods that I teach you today. First step in today's recipe, today's basic, fundamental, rudimentary, elementary bread recipe is to acquire and obtain 4 cups of bread flour. And when you've got your flour, you're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of active dry yeast and 1 teaspoon of salt. And so you're going to get 1.5 cups of water heated to 110 degrees and keep that ready. Just get those dry ingredients combined, and then we're going to slowly add our water. So my dough is running just a little bit dry right now, and that's perfectly normal for where I live. 1.5 cups is the proper starting point. It's better to underestimate and then adjust afterwards. So 1.5 cups to start, and I'm gonna just put a few drips of water in here to gradually see how that changes my dough. That may have been all it needed. Okay, see how my dough is coming together like this in the stand mixer? That's how you know that you're ready to start kneading and start your knead time. I'm gonna knead this in the stand mixer for about 5 to 6 minutes. If you're kneading by hand, it's really hard to convert time from the stand mixer to kneading time by hand because you're really looking for texture, not necessarily knead time. But a rough estimate would be about 20 minutes of knead time by hand. 15 to 20 minutes of knead time by hand for this. Another little tip or word of advice is when you're kneading with a stand mixer, you never or rarely want to go above the 2 setting because you want to activate your yeast. You don't want to kill your yeast. So why make homemade bread, you might ask? Why not go to the grocery store and buy cheap Wonder Bread for $1 or $2 a loaf? Great question. Glad you asked. This is going to taste 100 times better than any of the cheap stuff that you'll buy in the grocery store. Even stuff that you get in the bakery, I find that when you make the most basic bread possible, the easiest bread to make possible that is just so difficult to get wrong, it comes out better than what they make in the bakery. Fresh, baked, homemade bread, there's nothing like it in terms of texture, in terms of flavor. The other reason is on a day like today, on a Saturday when you have no plans, or around the holidays, or on a snowy day or a rainy day, you make homemade bread, your house is going to smell amazing all day long. So it's all about the ambiance in addition to the flavors. It does more than just satisfy your taste buds. It makes your home homey, and it makes your home a wonderful place to be and hang out, all the while you are making bread that is going to taste delicious when it's done. And if you always have this stuff on hand too, like flour, and you buy flour and salt and yeast in bulk, and you just always have this stuff that costs you virtually nothing to make this. So as I say with all of my videos, when you use the stand mixer, you always have to get a couple of hand kneads in to feel good and feel like you're making bread. Once you've got it kneaded once or twice, you're just gonna form it into a ball. And we are going to get ready for our first rise. You're going to put it into the back into your bowl, and I like to plate it, leave it out at room temperature for 3 hours. You can let it go a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, but I like 3 hours. And so we'll see you in 3 hours. Okay, so just over 3 hours have gone by. Let's see how we did. Our dough should have risen. And we're gonna be using some oil soon, so not with a ton of flour, just enough to keep it from sticking, just barely enough to keep your dough from sticking to the board. Get it on the board. The way that I get this into a loaf is I use the typical, like, you know, round and round we go technique here when you're making a ball of dough, except I go back and I just like, I do some extra iterations of that on the side and the side only. Okay, looking good so far. We're gonna get our cooking surface prepared. Get a generous amount of olive oil on here. And then you're just gonna place your loaf onto your oiled pan, just like that. Rub it around a little bit, get it nice and lubricated by the oil. Make sure that you're happy with how your bread, your loaf of dough looks in the pan. I like to use a clean kitchen towel like this, cover and let it rise again for an hour this time. Okay, at this time, we're gonna preheat our oven to 450 degrees. Reason why I wait till now to do it is because I like to score the bread and then let the bread rise again, one final third time, for the length of time it takes to preheat my oven. We're gonna remove our towel, and I am going to give this one more little forming. And now you can score it, and you can do this any number of ways. You can go across, you can do X's, you can do crescents, you can do like on one side. I am just gonna go right smack dab down the middle. And just be gentle, don't cut too deep in. You just wanna get through this top layer here. And then you're gonna hit it with some more olive oil. All right, and so our oven is preheated. On a rack that is in the middle of your oven. Don't have it too high, don't have it too low, otherwise the bread might get scorched. We're going to just place and kind of loosely kind of bend our tin foil. You do not want to wrap it super tight or anything. Just place it on top because you want the bread to be able to push up on it and rise. But the purpose of the tin foil is that the bread doesn't, the edge of the outside of the bread doesn't scorch too quickly. Into the oven, 450 degrees for 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes in the oven. We're gonna now turn our oven down to 350 and we're gonna take our bread out of the oven for a quick break. I put another one across the top like this to cover the sides a little better. Let's see how our bread's looking, very nice. We are now going to take some melted butter and we're gonna brush all of this. And I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of coarse salt on top of this. This bread, this dough recipe makes a really good base for like pretty much any kind of mix-in you wanna make. Like you can put garlic and herbs and all kinds of seasonings in and on this bread. Then it's gonna go back in the oven just for a short while, maybe like another 5 or 10 minutes at the lower temperature of 350. We're now going to take our bread out of the oven. It's been another 10 minutes. It's a little lumpy. I could definitely work on my loaf forming skills, but yeah, we're gonna take this out of the oven. We're gonna let it rest. All right, and so our bread is ready to be sliced up. There's another look. I always like to start from the middle, work my way outward. Using a standard bread knife here. Just going to, so here's a little cross section of the bread we just baked. These will make, look how like nice broad slices these are. This can be used for like sandwich bread really nicely. It can be used for regular eating bread like we're gonna try now with just a little bit of butter. You can use this to make toasts. One of my favorite things to do is Thanksgiving, I like to make stuffing with this bread. All right, we're gonna taste test this lovely bread that we just baked. There's another look at our bread slices. Unbelievable. And remember how simple this was to make too. Only a few ingredients, just takes time and process. Well, we did it. Enjoy, and please come again.